everybody, it's Miss Megan here. Thank you for joining me for another online session of Tiny Tots. This week's theme is bears. So I've got a fun flannel board, a couple of my favorite bear stories, and a fun bear mask and claw craft, which I am absolutely in love with. So I hope that if you get to make it, you love it as much as I do. So we're going to do a flannel board, which you might remember from in the past. We're going to sing about grizzly bears. So when we sing about grizzly bears, just hold up your big, scary grizzly bear claws, just like this, when we sing about those bears. Then we'll sing about polar bears, and they live where it's cold. So you can rub your arms just like this and pretend that you're very cold. And then the last bear that we sing about is going to be a teddy bear, and they're just your size. So if you just want to hold yourself like you're giving yourself and a bear a nice big hug. So those are the 3 different bears I'll put on our flannel board. Remember those movements when we sing. So if you'd like, you can try to sing along if you remember the words from our past few story times. So first up is grizzly bear. 1, 2, 3. Grizzly bears are big and brown, big and brown, big and brown. Grizzly bears are big and brown and live in the woods. Polar bears are soft and white, soft and white, soft and white. Polar bears are soft and white and live where it's cold. Teddy bears are just my size, just my size, just my size. Teddy bears are just my size to cuddle with at night. Give yourselves a hand for doing those bear motions with me. So we had a song about bears. Now we get to do a couple stories about bears. A couple of my favorites, so I hope that you enjoy them too. The first one is Bear is Not Tired by Ciara Gavin, and it is published by Alfred A. Knopf. Now it's a fun story because he lives with a bunch of ducks, but what do bears do in the winter? They like to hibernate. So he's trying everything possible to not fall asleep. Bear and the ducks lived together under the same roof. They were one big, happy family. Sometimes Bear forgot that he wasn't a duck. He hardly noticed the difference. Then, one morning, there was a sharp chill in the air. The ducks didn't mind, but the cold tickled the bear's nose. It could only mean one thing. Winter was coming. And that meant it was nearly time for Bear to go to sleep. He had been having so much fun, he'd forgotten all about it. Ducks don't sleep through the winter. Bear knew that they would carry on as usual. He didn't want to miss out on all the fun. He even had his winter clothes all ready. So it looks like he's got a hat and scarf and gloves all ready for some winter fun. So, Bear decided to stay awake. After all, he wasn't feeling the least bit sleepy. But the ducks began to notice a change in Bear. He kept falling asleep at the most inconvenient times. So while he was pulling the wagon, playing tennis, Bear tried to think of ways to stay awake, and the ducks tried to help him, holding his eyes open, playing lots of loud instruments. But nothing worked. He fell asleep at breakfast, face right in the plate. Every sound was a lullaby. The rippling of the water, the hum of the washing machine, the tap, tap, tap of the baby duck's feet. Bear was so tired, nothing made sense anymore. You can see he put his gloves on each ear and tried to put his hand in his hat like they were gloves. Mama Duck said Bear couldn't fight who he was. Bears are bears, and bears are supposed to sleep in the winter. promised him he wouldn't miss a thing. Feeling reassured, Bear finally fell into a deep sleep. The ducks carried on with their usual winter activities. Looks like they're digging out a path to their house. They included Bear whenever they could, so they're having their lunch next to Bear in his bed. Even Baby Duck found a way to keep him close. So Baby Duck is having a nap, sleeping on top of Bear. Then one morning, Bear sat up and opened his eyes. It was spring! And Mama Duck had kept her promise. Do you see what's on his lap? It says photo album. She even had the photos to prove it. So all of the things that the duck did, the duck family took pictures so they could show that Bear wasn't alone. So there's ducks listening to music, reading him stories, they're playing games. When they get dressed up to go out, they all took pictures of the bear, even though he was sleeping. So he didn't miss anything. And that's the end of Bear is Not Tired. One of my favorite stories. I hope you enjoyed it too. So now is another bear story. It's called Sleep, Big Bear Sleep. And this one, he is being told to go to sleep. But he's a little hard of hearing, so he hears lots of different silly things that are not the word sleep. The book is called Sleep, Big Bear Sleep, and it's written by Maureen Wright, illustrated by Will Hillenbrand, who's one of my favorite illustrators. I love all of the stuff he does, and it is published by Marshall Cavendish Children. Now, you can say, sleep, Big Bear, sleep with me as soon as you catch on to when you need to say it in the story. Are you ready? Old Man Winter from a storm cloud spied his big bear friend in the countryside. He leaned to earth and softly sighed, sleep, Big Bear, sleep. That's not the last time he's gonna say it, so feel free to repeat it with me. But Big Bear didn't hear very well. He couldn't sleep in his den in the dell. He thought he heard as twilight fell, drive a Jeep, Big Bear, drive a Jeep. Driving a Jeep? That's silly. So Big Bear yawned as he drove around in a Jeep on a road just south of town. That is very silly for a bear to do. But after a while, he stopped in a park. An old man whispered as it grew dark, sleep, Big Bear, sleep. But Big Bear didn't hear very well. He couldn't sleep in his den in the dell. He thought he heard as dry leaves fell, sweep, Big Bear, sweep. So Big Bear went to a house down the street and swept each room so nice and neat. Wouldn't that be alarming, having a bear in there sweeping your floors? But after a while, he yawned again. And Old Man Winter warned his friend, sleep, Big Bear, sleep. But Big Bear didn't hear very well. He couldn't sleep in his den in the dell. He thought he heard as shadows fell, leap, Big Bear, leap. They were telling him to jump. So Big Bear found a frog he knew and played leapfrog while the cold wind blew, till all at once he fell to the ground. The wind through the trees was the only sound. And Old Man Winter said with a frown, sleep, Big Bear, sleep. Do you think he heard him right? Not this time. But Big Bear didn't hear very well. He couldn't sleep in his den in the dell. He thought he heard as darkness fell, dive deep, Big Bear, dive deep. So Big Bear paddled to the clear blue lake, finding it hard to stay awake. He dove in deep and swam to shore. He'd never been so very tired before. So he dove into the lake. His head dropped down and he let out a snore. And Old Man Winter said once more, "Sleep, Big Bear, sleep." But Big Bear didn't hear very well. He couldn't sleep in his den in the dell. And he thought as he heard snowflakes fell, "Climb a mountain steep, Big Bear, steep." Now he's going to climb a mountain. That is the opposite of sleep. So Big Bear trudged to the mountain top, where the cold wind blew and the temperature dropped. He sat on a stump on the highest spot, and he wished for a blanket and a fold-up cot. Then he stumbled back down with his eyes half shut, so tired he didn't know which end was up. The old man yelled while shaking his head. What did he say? Get ready. "Hey there, Bear, did you hear what I said? It's winter time. Now go to bed." Think you got the point now? Bear's eyes were droopy and red. "You could have told me that before," he said. He lumbered nearby to his cozy den. He rubbed his eyes and yawned again. He put on his PJs and blew out the light. Fluffing his pillow, he said good night. So he finally went to sleep. Big Bear, sleep. I just think it's so funny, all of the different silly things he does instead of going to sleep. Like driving a Jeep. That's just so silly for a bear to do. And the best part about our craft is you can pretend to be a bear because it's a bear mask and claws. So if you're signed up to get your to-go packets, you will get a coloring page that you can see right here and your instructions. And then you'll need a full-size piece of brown construction paper, and we trimmed off the edges to make it fit your face. So that's going to be the base of your mask. And then we'll assemble the ears first. So in your packet, you'll have some dark brown circles, just like this. And those are going to go in the center of the shape that I've cut out your ears as. I like to put them off to the side like that. And then so we're going to make our second ear. And then there are these little flaps here that you can put some glue on. And then you glue those on the back side of your bear mask to make him have two ears right at the top. And that is the bear mask part all put together. And then for a special treat, we have claws. So it is 2 pieces of brown paper. And what you're going to do is put a little glue on the edge and roll it over like a circle to make some claws. And then you do the same for the other to make like a little bracelet almost. And then it's up to you how you want to put the claws on. There's a couple of different ways. So you can either glue them flat on the front of your claws like this, nice and flat. Or if you want to try something different, you can fold the bottom of it like probably just a smidge just to get some glue on there. And then you can fold up your claws to make it more of like a 3D effect. So there's a couple of different ways to do your claws, and all those are just some black construction paper triangles to make some claws. So it's up to you how you want your claws to look. So there's a couple of different ways if you want to do a couple of different claws. But this way, you get a super fun bear mask that fits right over your face. And you hold up your claws either like this with the pointed up or like this with them flat. Either way, you look really ferocious. So I hope you enjoy your bear stories and your bear craft. Feel free to check out our other YouTube and Facebook events that we've been doing. They're all a lot of fun for all ages. I hope to see you again next week. Tune in for another fun session of stories, songs, and crafts. Have a very good day. Bye!